Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be playing with some stenciling, some die cutting, and just kind of having a relaxing Sunday afternoon with putting a card together. I pulled out some things that I have in my stash that I have not used yet, or maybe just slightly used. So I wanted to give them a little bit more love. And I am having a rainy day, Sunday afternoon crafting session. And this is what I felt like working on. So I pulled out this April Reflections die set from Papertrey Ink. I also pulled out the Argyle stencils, which I haven't used at all. I did purchase them and then just never used them. So I'm going to play with those. And then another thing that I purchased and I think I might have used or attempted to use, because I do see some of the stamps I did kind of stamp out, but I don't think I ever ended up making anything with it, or maybe I started and I didn't really like what I was going for. So today my challenge is to use this set. I have the coordinating dies and the stamp set, and I'm going to be playing with those. I thought I would start out with the background, since I love doing stenciled backgrounds, but at the same time I have a hard time selecting colors of what I want to use for especially layered stencils. So that is my challenge. I have a bunch of challenges today. Use a set that I tried to use before but seemed to not been inspired at the time to use it, and then do a background using some layered stencils, which is something that I tend to struggle with. So I pulled out a couple of colors that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using. I even coordinated a little bit of the die cutting and the colors. I did do that earlier just to have that ready to go to save some time. And I am going to take some white cardstock, and then I'm going to start with my Argyle pattern here. So I'm just going to lay my stencil down, making sure we're lining at the top and the bottoms and on the sides. Since this is a pretty tight stencil for holding down to my grip mat, I am going to grab some tape just to hold it into place so that I don't accidentally move it. So just gonna grab that tape there, and only just need maybe one in each corner. The grip mat should hold most of it, but just to be safe, because I don't want to put a lot of work into making this and having it slide all over the place. And another thing that I've recently purchased, which I am behind on this, are the big 1-inch Pinkfresh Studio daubers. I have yet to buy the little stand to keep them in, which is I think just a lipstick. It's in my Amazon cart. I just haven't purchased anything from Amazon in quite some time. So I have not purchased anything or purchased the thing to hold these. And I just started playing with these maybe in a week or so ago. And I love them. They're fantastic, especially for things that are a little bit wider opened, like having to cover more area. These are so nice. And I did use a pretty bright pink last time I used this. So I'm just going to try to make sure that I don't have any ink on there. I'm going to start with Concord and 9th Ballet Slippers, because I do think I have another pink that I want to use, and it's pretty close in color with this. So I'm just going to lay down that color. Now this is a fairly light color. I'm going to start blending that into the cardstock. I love this. Now, one thing I'm seeing is that I do have to kind of go in both directions just to get to fill in that diamond shape for our Argyle. And I am not really too concerned with this color being too dark. I think this pink, brighter pink color, I definitely have to be very light-handed with, because I don't want that to be super bright. And we're just going to go ahead and get this on here. I am, like I said, very nervous sometimes using stencils, especially layered stencils, because I'm always afraid I'm going to mess it up. I get so close, and then I feel like I've not quite hit the mark with it. But we are definitely giving ourselves a test today and making sure we use these products that we have in our stash. Because will tell you, I have quite a few things that I have been kind of hoarding and not using, and I just need to start doing that. I need to stop and use the things I have before I start buying things that are going to end up just like these, which was just sitting there. So it's time to get these into place. So I think that's pretty good coverage. I just want to get these center ones a little bit more. Get those edges. I am going to cut this down a little bit so it's not a full A2 size panel. So I'm not too concerned about filling in all of the edges, but we just want to make sure that we get this. Now let's see how this looks like. Ooh, I love that. All right, I can't wait to do the second layer now to see what that's going to look like. All right, second layer. That is just going to line up just like so. So just making sure that our edges are meeting. I'm just going to use the same tape that I used before and put that down. Oops, covering up some of that stencil. We don't need that big of a piece. All right, we're just going to do that. And then I better put this away. It will bring out Honeysuckle. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be too dark for what I want, but I didn't have anything that is a little bit shade lighter than this. So I am going to tap off first. It's easier to tap off, and we can always add more if we need it. But oh yeah, that's bright. All right, so I'm glad I tapped off. So we're just going to keep doing that as we're blending, and I'm doing a very light hand. The bristles on this are so nice. They just are smooth compared to a brush, which I love blender brushes, but they, I feel like it takes me longer to cover a bigger area. So this is nice. So I'm just going to keep blending this. I'm going to get this completely covered. Again, I don't want it to be super dark. No, I got a little dark down here. Hopefully that'll be okay. Okay, I think we've got it all covered. Well, I see a little spot right here that needs. Okay, I don't want to put any more on because I don't want that to be super dark. So we're just going to lift this up and we're going to see what this looks like. I'm afraid it's going to be too dark. Oh, it's not bad at all. I love that. Okay. We're just going to set this one aside. I will clean all of my stencils later on. And then I have the third layer, which we are going to put into place. And now this one, I think I am going to need a blending brush to do because the little dots on this Argyle are super small. And I don't know if that no longer 1-inch brush will get into there. So let's pull new tape so we don't pull any of the pink off of there into our next color. So let's just get some fresh tape. Okay, so I have a brush here. All right, so I am going to use Simon Says Stamp for this one, and I'm going to use the butter color, and I am going to use a regular blending brush for this one. And I'm just going to go for it. I was trying to decide if I wanted to go a little lighter handed or not, but I think this is a lighter color yellow, and it won't be terribly bright unless I go a little heavy handed. So we're just going to make sure we get into all those little tiny circles. I probably can even use a smaller brush for this, but just to get more of this covered, a larger size brush is fine too. Okay, I think I have everything covered. Let's put the top on that and let's see how this is looking. So I have some areas over here that are a little lighter, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm a little more worried about trying to line all those little dots back up to get that in place right. But I'm going to cut this down anyway, so I'm not going to fuss too much about whether or not that is covered or whether it's fully covered. It's just kind of light is all it is. Let's do this way. Get this off there. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. All right, let's clean up a little bit of our mess here so we don't get ink onto anything we don't want ink on. Okay, I'm just going to leave this baby wipe here because we're going to need this. And let's wipe this down just in case I got any color on it. And we'll let this dry before I move on because I am going to use this to do a little bit of assembly. So we'll let this dry off a little bit. I'll set that aside. While that's doing that, I do want to start maybe even doing my die cutting. So I'm going to grab a couple of things. Now I have all of my little pieces die cut. I am going to, I think I'm going to die cut the lighter pink. So I have this lighter pink, a white, and then I also have this darker pink and then some yellow and green in here. And I think I'm going to do my layer piece with the lighter pink, and then I'll do the second layer in white. And we're going to get those die cut, I think, and then we'll also die cut our stencil piece while we're at it. All right, I have those two pieces cut, and I just wanted to see how this is going to look together with the different shades of pink, and I kind of like that. It's not bad. Not bad. All right, I think that is definitely the way we're going to go. So we're going to cut this one down. Okay, I am going to die cut my stencil also. I'm just using the second to largest, so it's slightly smaller than A2 size card, so I'm going to use that. And I am going to grab my plates here. I'm going to use my Anna Griffin Mini Express. And I will tell you, I use this mini machine more often than I use my larger machine. It pretty much does everything I needed to do, even smaller, just this little slightly smaller than an A2 size. It's just that you got to make sure that you're on that magnetic plate and you will be set. So let's run this through our machine. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Perfect. So the colors are going to fade back a little bit on this one because it is still drying. So I'm just going to set that aside. I'm pretty much done with that one, and I will clean up my mess. I've been trying to do better about cleaning up as I'm crafting because otherwise I end up with a mess. Or while I'm trying to film, I can't find anything that I am working with because I've left a mess all around the outside of my desk here. So I am going to put the things away that I've already used. I've been keeping my blender brushes in their original package just so that the colors don't hit each other inside the boxes because I don't have anything to stand them up in. So I am just kind of using that to protect it. And then we will, the next time I order from Amazon, I will order the little lipstick holder to keep them from touching because we don't want that to have happen. And this goes in my other holder. All right, so we're done with the die cutting, I think. This die set comes with this little tiny flower, which is so cute, and it does come with layers so that you can make them so they have like a center part. So I did go ahead and die cut them in both white and yellow, and the reason why I did that is because I didn't want them to all be one color. I also wanted a way to bring out the yellow that I used for my stencil or my Argyle pattern. So I'm just going to take these and just add a couple, just do a couple at a time. Add a couple dots of glue, and then from inside here, I'm going to grab my larger pieces or my outside layer of my flowers and just stick them down. So we're going to need a small white one. And having them on the grip mat just makes my life so much easier because I don't have to try to line things up perfectly. It's holding everything into place for me. Get that little push down there. Let's see, we need a small yellow. Okay, those are done there. I'm going to go ahead and do my other little flowers. And I'm trying not to get glue on the center of those flowers so that the top layer has a little hole in the center, and that's what shows the color through. But although I'm thinking it may need gems in the center, but we'll see as we get closer to finishing our card. That little grip mat just serves as a little extra hand to help you line things up. I love that. Okay, we are going to go ahead and pop these off of here. Just going to use my tweezers to grab them, and I'm going to put them right back inside my little tray here. I want to stamp my sentiment, and I'm just going to grab the stamps from inside of my thing here, and I'm deciding if I want to do You're My Jam. That is so cute. Have a lovely day. Thanks for being sweet. I think I'm going to go with I love you very much. I think that's what I'm going to do. I am just going to grab that out of there. And instead of dragging out my Misty, I am just going to go old school and use an acrylic block here. I have my little tag here that goes onto my jar and my black ink. So we're going to grab my black ink. Oh, do the I love you very much. I apologize if my head gets in the way. I have not stamped like that in a very long time. That was scary. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, so we have our sentiment stamped out. Make sure our lid is on our ink. I am going to... Actually, you know what? I think I saw that there's a little tiny heart in here. Oh, there's also a little tiny flower. Do I want the heart or the flower? I think I'm going to go with the heart. I want to add something to this so that it's not just the black and white. So I'm thinking this little heart, maybe right to the side over here, would be cute. Oh yeah, that's cute. All right. Oh, I love it. Okay, put your stuff away. I have to keep telling myself this. We are going to now go ahead and put together our jam, because it's our jam. We're about to put our jam. Oh, before we do that, wait a minute. Maybe we should add a couple little like seeds to our jar. I think our jar needs seeds. Let's see, what colors do I have right here? I was debating whether to use like use black or a lighter kind of brown color. And I think I'm going to go with that. What do I want to do? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. So I'm just going to stamp some seeds so they look like they're inside my jar of jam, or in my case, I think I'm declaring mine to be strawberry, since my sentiment is I love you very much. I'm not going to worry about the center. I'm going to put this little tag over the top of it, so that'll hide. Ooh, but I feel like we need a little bit right there. Okay. All right, so we're going to put the jar together. I'm just going to throw a little bit of adhesive on the top. That's not the piece. All right, try that again. This is the piece that goes on the top. So we're just going to get this lined up here. Oh, so cute. Oh my goodness, is that not the cutest little jar? So adorable. Okay, and then we have a ribbon and bow. So I'm going to grab the ribbon piece. Actually, let's use our tweezers. Now, I was looking at the packaging, trying to figure out which way the ribbon went, and I think I figured it out, because I do want to add the tag to this as well. So we're just going to get that adhered down. Now, before I adhere the ends, I do have my little tag here. I'm going to stick the tag right onto the bottom part of what is supposed to be my ribbon, if I can get it on there. Get in there. And then that goes underneath. So it looks like it's going through, the tag is coming through the ribbon. Go that way. There we go. That seemed a little harder than it should have been, but we got it on there. And then I just have to put my bow on, which I love that bow. This bow is so dainty and so cute. We're just going to put a dot in the center, and then that's going to go right up there. I feel like I overdid it with the glue in some of the spots. Yeah, we're going to pop up our sentiment, and I'm just going to add one foam adhesive to the back because we're going to be adding more dimension to this, I believe. And then we'll go ahead and just add some liquid to the back. And this will get centered right on our jar, so it's like a label on our jar. I think it's time to start putting our card together. I'm just grabbing a card base. I already have my card bases all set and ready to go, so they're already folded. I do use 110-pound cardstock, which is my fave, and we are going to go ahead and adhere this down. Now, let's do tape runner. And then this will get centered right onto our card base. Go. Oh, I love that. That is perfect. And then we can start putting our card together. So I think I am going to adhere this piece down first. And we're just going to put that down flat. Just going to add some adhesive to the back. And then we'll get this centered. Grab my acrylic block and put that right there. And for this one, I want to make sure that I kind of don't cave in the center. So it might seem like a lot of foam adhesive, but if I do mill this, I don't want it to flatten out. So I'm just going to add that extra to it. I'm going to grab my little pokey tool here to grab all those little backings. And then I do like to add that adhesive to the back. Gives me that wiggle room to slide it in place, since I do have a tendency to never put things in the center when I plan on it. Okay. I think that is pretty good. That looks pretty centered to me. All right. We are going to go ahead and put down our berry, and I think our little jar needs to be popped up as well. So this card is going to have a lot of dimension to it, but I love the dimension, and if it needs to be extra, a little bit of extra postage when I mail it, that is okay too. Okay, backing. All right, so let's add our jar, our berry jar, right to the center of that label. Just like so. That's perfect. All right, I really like that. That looks good. So I decided to add a little grouping of flowers on two of the corners. So I'm just putting down the leaves where I want them to be. And then I'm going to go through and add 3 flowers to each corner. So I'm just going to put my glue down. I'm going to start with the yellow in the center for this one. And then I'm going to do a white on either side. So we're going to have 2 larger ones and a smaller one. And then down the bottom, I already have those leaves glued in place. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do opposite. So I'm going to add a large white one to the center, a larger yellow, another larger yellow, or small yellow rather. I think I just need to add, I don't want them to be flat, so I think what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to the edge of this yellow one, so this one is popping up. I think I'll do the same thing on this one down here. Put a nice clump there. Okay, they just need to dry. Now I decided that we needed to also add one of those little flowers and leaves to the tag. Okay, I'm gonna let those dry. So there we go. That's my card for today. I really feel like I beat my challenges, getting that stencil background, working with the die set that I attempted to work with once before, but just wasn't feeling inspired to use it, and creating this adorable card. Thank you for watching today's video. If you are interested in any of the supplies that I shared today, you can find a link in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.